Movies in minutes. Minutes.
Welcome to this week's episode of Movies in Minutes. Look at that nice prison escape there into the studio. For episode 20, I'm very excited to bring you another high-rated film in this series. Watch out, Odyssey. There has been a displacement. We do have a new number one to share with you this week. Very exciting. Despite this movie actually being a complete box office disappointment, I think it raised around worldwide 771,000. However, that did not reflect the audience score, as again, you will see here at the end of this episode, a new number one. Happy to present it on episode 20. For this week, we will be reviewing the film The Shawshank Redemption. The one, the only, of course, adapted from a Stephen King film, a runtime of 2 hours and 22 minutes, and directed by Frank Darabont. Well done there. This genre of film is a prison drama. Woo! And of course, this movie was actually rated in theater as an R. So restricted, bring your parents, bring the IDs. The cast of this film, star-studded as always. Tim Robinson plays Andy Dufresne, Morgan Freeman as Ellis, and Bob Gunton as Warden Norton. To set this scene, 72% of this film is actually filmed in prison, and that prison in real life is actually the Ohio State Reformatory. It's a very cool little fun fact there. If I had to sum up this movie in one sentence, it would simply be, hope survives even the darkest prison walls. So hope survives even the darkest prison walls. Some of the major themes around this film, again, it did come out, I should include the date, I believe in 1994, around that time. What a classic movie, classic film. Again, some of these themes are hope, institutionalization, and of course, friendship within the walls. Some additional notes on this film, which are very crazy to think about, in the future here now. This film did not win any Oscars. No Best Picture, no Best Script, no Best Actor. Did not win a single award, yet it is, again, one of the highest rated movies here in my series and on a lot of audiences' list. And the famous beach scene, which is at the very end of this film, was actually filmed in Mexico. And the sewer, or the poop, was actually chocolate syrup, water, and sawdust. So let's get into Exodus here, and let's talk a little bit more about the movie summary. So, a banker named Andy Dufresne is sentenced to manslaughter or murder of his wife and her lover. Again, he is a retired banker. As a result, he is convicted and sent to prison. It only takes about 31 minutes before you have to really close your eyes like you're watching one of my episodes, because my eyes are barely open. About 31 minutes into this film, out of the 2 hours plus runtime, you do get that scene nobody wants to talk about, no one wants to see, no one wants to hear. So pure, slippy slip, slippery snake. Nobody wants any of that, but that's kind of 31 minutes in, really sets the tone to the film. Welcome to prison, and the Shawshank prison, I should insinuate. So, cool thing about this, some of the greatest things about this, it's about a guy named, so again, the banker goes in, Andy Dufresne comes in, he starts to befriend a lot of the prison mates. What are you in for? What did you do? Some of his best friends are Ellis, of course, who's played by Morgan Freeman, and Brooks, he's an older guy, he's in the librarian. Kind of builds a lot of those friendships. Of course, with prison, you get friends, you get enemies, you get race, you get color. All those, dramatic elements of it really kind of give you that tension of being within the confined walls. As a result, again, he does befriend a lot of them, and they all try to work together and essentially to, make their time a little bit easier. One of the sad elements of this story, Brooks, again, the older gentleman, actually does get paroled, but actually he's not able to adjust to the real life scenario. He gets out in his 80s or 90s. It's very unfortunate. He gets paroled, unable to work, elderly man, and he actually ends up committing suicide. One of the kind of quotes that really stand out in this film, and there's numerous ones to mention, but one of the films that actually Ellis says is, Brooks should have died in prison. Kind of that sad little element. That was his place of happiness, his home for such a long term. He tried to get back embedded in society, and unfortunately he was unable to. Fun thing about this, again, they are looking to help. Andy Dufresne goes through a little bit of a rough time, gets in a little bit of fights, gets put in the infirmary or wherever to get healed up. So they're actually looking to help build him a chess piece, a chess board. He really loves chess, Andy Dufresne. So they're actually like looking while they're working out in the field. Unique about Shawshank Redemption Prison or Shawshank Prison, it was actually one of the first prisons that allowed prisoners to work in society. So they get paid a minimum wage, a very low minimum wage, hire the prison to clean the roads, shovel the sidewalks, take cats out of trees, things like that. They're the first prison that's actually being hired by society to actually fulfill duties. So pretty cool there. What really happens, so long story short, is after they make all these friends, they wake up one morning, not even 20 years into Andy Dufresne's sentence, and he's no longer in his cell. Nobody's in there. They ring the alarm. Bring, bring, bring. Everybody's running. It definitely doesn't sound like that. But either or, everyone finds out he's escaped. So Andy Dufresne has successfully escaped prison. He essentially dug out a tunnel in his wall underneath a poster, dug out a tunnel, and he was actually able to slip out in the middle of the night. Very, very smart. Some of the other famous quotes around that, kind of breaking out, some birds aren't meant to be caged. Another really great quote is, again, kind of Andy Dufresne. He always claimed he was innocent. Everybody's innocent in prison. That's always the ongoing joke in prison. However, he does escape. He escaped in 1966. Less than 20 years it took him to dig out a tunnel in his wall, and he had to crawl through half a mile of sewer, aka SH blank T. He was crawling through that for half a mile. The smell alone probably would have knocked out a blind person or a deaf person. Who would have known? Either or, what an escape strategy that works. He does escape. Funny story is Ellis, of course, does eventually get paroled, and Andy Dufresne always told him they were best mates there in prison. They developed a friendship. Hey, if you ever do get out, this is where I'll be. Andy essentially follows those cookie crumbs, and he's actually able to reconnect with Andy on the beach in Mexico. Who doesn't want to be on a beach in Mexico? Great, exciting movie. Really excited to be able to present this to you on episode 20, dethroning Odyssey in the #1 spot. Again, despite having a disappointing box office, such a huge worldwide success 20 plus years later. For the Shawshank Redemption, I do give it a solid rating of 9.2 out of 10. So really do appreciate you tuning in. This is a movie I 100% recommend. Still a cult classic to this date. And I really appreciate you all taking the time to tune in this week. Please make sure to like, comment, and to subscribe. Still working on my eye contact. I really appreciate all the feedback from the fans. It's an adjustment, holding Exodus up and down, left and right, moving around. Work in progress again. Really happy to bring you the first 20 of my series. This is the highest ranked, episode 14, the lowest rank. No need to give that credit or love. Appreciate you all tuning in. If you did have to watch an ad throughout this video, I do appreciate it. Pull up your popcorn, really enjoy it. Really helps continue to grow the platform. Have a great week, everybody. Look forward to bringing you episode 21. Stay blessed.